What's up, Facebook? What's up? Here we are. How you doing? Most important question is, how are you feeling? That's what I'm talking about. Because when you feel good, you flat out do good, as my mentor says. Motion creates emotion. Get your body moving, get your body going, and feel it. Feel good, do good. So how you doing? It's Wednesday night. It's Driven. It's your internet energy drink. We live. Super stoked for today. Thank you guys. Rick's on. John, what's up, brother? John's going to be our special guest. Software update on iOS 11. No, thank you. Install that. Never. Terrible time, Apple. What's up? How you doing? How you feeling? Cool. What is this? This is Driven. Driven's a show I created for place for people that are crushing it, that want to crush it, and that don't even know what crushing it's about. You can pick any topic, pick any business, and let's connect and grow our network. I've always admired people with that driven mindset, that ability to go above and beyond whenever they need to, and then do it on a consistent basis, day in and day out, and really accomplish things in their life. So I'm super stoked on a driven lifestyle. This is a show you can grow your network, grow your knowledge, and hopefully have some fun along the way. Little man, we're coming at you live. How you doing? A man is on. Tim, thank you guys for coming on. Hope you're feeling good and doing good tonight. Live from the McDonald's giant play place in the back. We're on a road trip. We're doing it big, heading out to get some sled. And so what is it? I'm Scott. I'm a dad. I'm a sledder, and I got my vision set on exactly what means the most to me. And it's a bigger picture. It's more than just myself. And no, I can't do it right now, buddy. No. You wanna go buy a small drink? Get a small, buddy. Okay. We're live. We're in McDonald's. He wants a drink or ice cream, cone or something. So anyway, sorry, I'm a little distracted. How you doing? Brian's on. Wesley's on. So I'm Scott. I'm a dad. I'm a sledder, and I got my vision set on exactly what means the most to me. And what is that? That's pushing, driving, and leveling up. I realized about a year ago that I was living a lifestyle that was very good. It was clean. I was having fun. I have a great job and a great family. But I realized what I was doing was not going to get me to where I wanted to be. So I knew I had to level up. And by level up, I mean I had to open a book, start doing some learning, reach out and find some people that had what I want and had the results that I want, and learn from them. They say mentorship is wisdom without waiting, and it really is true. You find somebody that's got the keys to where you want to go in the vehicle that you want to drive to get there, and you learn some stuff from them. You see how they did it and how they got there, and you too can do that. And all it takes is commitment. It takes that drive. It takes a mindset that you can push through things that are, challenging in the low times and ride out the high times, and really put yourself on a trajectory to do what you want to do with your life. So if you saw a post I shared earlier, it was from Andy Frisella about holding yourself accountable. And is loving mean letting stuff slide? And if you change the verbiage there a little bit, like the way he spun it was, by letting somebody slide, you're basically letting them down. Hey, John, what's up? Yeah, yo, Scott, what's up? I'm in Winnemucca right now at the McDonald's, headed north to Idaho. Emilio's on. What's up, my man? But loving somebody was holding them accountable and not letting them slide. You take that and you apply that in your professional life, in your family life, on a weekend trip up with your buddies, and by not letting them...
I couldn't reach the top.
Don't spill it. By applying that accountability and that leadership to any aspect of your life, you can hold them accountable. And at the bottom of that post, there was a couple questions. Hey, Becky, we'll see you in a little bit. I drive all night. Daniel's on. Caston's on. What's up, brother? Holding them accountable, basically. And at the end of that post, it said, it asked a couple questions. It says, do you love yourself? And by love means holding them accountable and pushing yourself. Do you love yourself? Do you love your people? Do you hold your people accountable? Do you push your family? Do you push your friends? Do you push your coworkers if you lead them or if you're in a leadership role? And what he tried to get across there, it just hit me so hard. And the first thing I read it, I'm like, brother, this hits right at home with my family and, you know, leading my little boy and myself and keeping ourselves accountable. And I shared it with Jon, a guest I'm going to throw on here in about 2 minutes. And the first thing he replied back to me, he said, man, that applies a lot to like your family scenario. And I'm like, oh no, that's exactly what it is. So the title of this show is called Connections, and that's exactly what this is. A couple months ago when I kind of started this thing and got it rolling, Jon reached out to me and he just kind of dropped a comment, you know, I like what you're doing, I like what you're putting out there. And I'm like, man, thank you. But from that conversation, that start of that conversation, we've had several phone calls and interactions since then, and I've learned a ton about this gentleman that really shows me his driven mindset. He really shows me that he's pushing to maximize every aspect of his life. He has a checklist of certain areas that he wants to apply the most important things and the most important commitments to, and he just pours out that driven mindset. And from any aspect of his life, if you separate it from the rest of it, you can tell that he's 100% devoted to that, and that absolutely set fireworks off on me. And I was like, yes, I gotta talk to this guy. And we worked through it, and we got this set up. Darcy's on, Jamie's on. What's up? All right, so without further ado, the gentleman that's gonna come on, his name's Jon Ferrian. He's from the Pacific Northwest. You know, I don't want to tell his story. I want him to be able to share with you who he is, what he does, and why he does it. But most importantly, as we're going through this, I want you to see how he's maximized, like pick apart a little bit. I want you to see how he's maximized each discipline in his life, from his family to his career to his professional life to snowmobiling to whatever he applies it to. He really maximizes each section. So I'm going to throw him on right now. And so I'm adding him in there. Let me see who's all on right now before we get going. Jamie, Dwayne's on. Emilio, I got you. Craig, what's up, man? Thanks for coming on, cast in. Kind of got a bunch of you. Again, interact, drop some love. What's up, brother? What's up? How you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thanks, Scott. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, doing great. Can you hear me all right with the McDonald's, the background ambiance music and stuff?
You know what we call this? We call this life. You work it in between all the other stuff that you're playing, right?
That's it. Improvise, man. Make the best of each little situation you can. That's exactly where we're at now. I had an opportunity come up, and I just had to jump on it today to take a road trip and get the sled out. So I loaded up, and we're en route right now to Idaho. So it's pretty sweet. How you doing? How was your day?
You can't fault a man for a last minute sled trip plan.
I never.
Part of living the dream that we all dream. So
never. I love it. Right on. Hey Mike. Hey JJ. Thanks for coming on. All right. So like I said, this is Jon Ferrian. He's from the Pacific Northwest, Washington to be specific, and we met a couple months back and have talked a little bit since then. And like I said, one thing I noticed about Jon right away is his commitment to each discipline in his life and how he really maximizes each portion of it. And to refer back to that post about loving your career, your family, your coworkers, and your friends, I can definitely tell this guy keeps that stuff accountable on the forefront of his mind. So without further ado, I don't want to share his story. I want to let him do it. It's his story. So without further ado, Jon, welcome to Driven, man. And thank you so much for taking a little time out and coming and joining us tonight.
Yeah, no problem, Scott. I mean, those who followed me for a while, I'll tell you that, you know, something they've seen me say and they've heard me say a lot is the phrase live large. So what live large means to me, like when I wish somebody happy birthday, when I'm, you know, on Facebook, I'm you know, empowering them to go get after it. It's all about live large, man. It's, you know, follow your dreams, push yourself, you know, literally take that towel and wring it every ounce of your day. Get the most out of it, make the best of it. And, you know, just go for it, right? It's like, you know, make every day the greatest day it can be, man. It's live large.
Full commitment.
I'll share a little bit of, go ahead, man.
I said full commitment, living large.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's just go for it, right? And just to give you a little background of me, I mean, a lot of the folks on here that are following are friends of mine that I've been inviting and bringing them along for the ride and trying to introduce them to you. And I heard through the day, like, you know, Mr. Kavanaugh has you know, reached out to you today. You told me that earlier on the phone. That's cool. So, Brian, thanks for reaching out. Appreciate you. But yeah, a little background on me is I was born and raised in Minnesota. You know, I grew up on sleds, grew up in a good, wholesome Catholic family. Mom and dad were married their whole life. You know, met my wife just coming out of high school into college time frame. And
nice.
we met on a blind date, believe it or not. My wife Edith, you know, we met on a blind date, and 2.5 months later, we were engaged. And so it's that whole mindset of like, you know what, when it's going right, full commitment, make it happen, and, you know, build to the future, right? But, you know, just some more background about me too is, you know, through my life, my career is, you know, at 18 years old, I started out working, you know, as an hourly sales associate at a Walmart 1 hour photo lab, and, you know, worked my way through Walmart over 18 years and worked my way into a district level position. Transferred over to T-Mobile, been at T-Mobile now another, 7 years or something like that since 2010. And, you know, this is the part of my life that not too many of my Facebook followers ever get to hear about, right? Because everything I post on Facebook, as it states, is it's all about family and snowmobiling. Those are my passions. That's what I share.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you start following the thought process of, you know, what do you do to be driven and focused? It's every part of your life, right? It's, you know, it's that, you know, it's work, it's your faith, it's your family, you know, it's sledding, your friends, your networks and stuff that you have, everything that you're doing. And, you know, when I saw you for the first time coming onto Facebook, sharing your stuff too, I was kind of like, okay, well, what's going on with Scott here? I'm going to follow him for a while and kind of see what's going on. And I was kind of lurking in the dark in the background and kind of watching you kind of metamorphosize into what you've become now. And, you inspired me to reach out. You know, it's awesome to see folks like yourself who, you know, I said this to you in person on the phone, but, you know, Scott, the way you're coming across in these videos is that, you know, you're reaching out and you're seeking help and wisdom from others, which to me, that's a big lesson alone, right?
I lack in certain areas, and I know that, and I recognize it. And the only, you know, to me, my idea, the only way to level up is to reach out and for people, and that's our network is our strength, basically. And if you can improve your network,
and that's and that's the way you've set the stage, and that's what impressed me the most about you. And honestly, I'm in the same boat, right? It's like, and that's the thing I'll always tell folks is, you know, never assume you're the smartest person in the room. You know, listen closely. Always know that there's somebody around you that's got something to share with you and learn from you. You know, and kind of sit back and absorb it. And you know, I've been watching some of the broadcasts that you've had in the past year and going from there. But you know, a little bit about me. You know, again, family. I've got 2 teenage boys, one 16, one 14. Family of 4-wheel ride. My wife Edith Ferrian, love of my life. We've been married over 21 years now, believe it or not. Feels like yesterday, but God bless America, we made it. And, you know, it's just getting better and better. I mean, that's what I love about life right now. And, you know, this whole driven mindset is, you know, just in the last few years, I feel like things are finally kind of coming together in my life to the point where I now can come on a program like this and hopefully contribute and share some lessons. You know, you know, 43 years old as of this last October, you know, I finally have started to learn a few things that I hopefully can share with some others. And, you know, the way you've inspired me to jump on here, hopefully I can inspire some others. And I will tell you, Scott, is, you know, I've already got other friends in my network that I've shared your story with, and they're excited to meet you and to go watch some of these broadcasts and maybe some of your future guests. So hopefully we'll go from there.
It's almost overwhelming, honestly, just because, I mean, this is a little bit new to me, but I know I want to do it because every part of the journey that I've been going through with Driven specifically, it's been rewarding on a lot of levels, from reaching out and connecting with you and getting to talk to you and getting to meet new people and just getting to share people's stories. Because when it comes down to it, and I know you've touched on this a lot, is when it comes down to it, I mean, our story basically is our brand. And if you can write your story and speak your story and resonate with people along the way, your brand can grow exponentially, and whatever that may be, and whatever it may be you might be trying to pursue, whether it's an excellent professional career or a business or whatever it may be. Your brand is basically your worth, and then you base your story off that. So thank you.
Your reputation, Scott. Your brand is your reputation, man. It's like, you know, I went through this with my kids one night at dinner. Like we do, speaking of dinner, like we have a tradition here, I'll share with you more detail in a minute, is the whole, you know, what was the best part of your day? But there was one night where we were inspired to kind of talk through, you know, your reputation is your brand. And every day you're building your brand or you're killing your brand. Those are your two options. You either build it or you kill it. And think of the companies out there over the years who've had great brands and risen to the top. Think about it, right? What have they done to get there? They've built a reputation. They've worked the long haul. They've stuck behind things with their customers. their word is their bond, right? That's the thing that I live by. When you're
Mm-hmm.
building your brand, you've got to stand behind everything you stand for, and don't shy away from that. So
I was actually listening to a story the other day, and it was I think it's like called the Disney effect, if you will, that the brand becomes so recognizable that any part of it that comes off of it, whether it be a movie, a toy, or a shirt line or whatever, but everything is recognizable back to your brand, and you can apply that same thing to like yourself, your network, and your brand is everyone
Amen.
everyone you touch along the way has the ability to reflect back on you, and I've stumbled in the past with certain relationships and stuff, and that's I had to learn and grow through that process. But when I reach out to somebody and touch somebody, I want to make their lives a little better going forward, day one, right now, forever, and that's what I'm really building this off of, is reaching out and trying to make one person's life a little cooler, a little better. So thank you, man. It's cool. It's fun. It's a process. It's a journey for sure. A learning.
Amen.
Right on. So
Cool.
I can tell you value your family, and you prioritize that number one. It's cool. Your wife, you guys blind date and that many years later, but what, like, do you want to go? You said you had a story about how to maximize your day, or how to what were you?
Yeah.
Get them.
No, I mean, good. And you and I talked about this a little bit on the phone, and I love the fact that we got a chance to talk through some ideas on the phone too. It kind of got my head spinning and kind of got my brain working on, what do we want to talk about here with our audience, right? And what are we going to share? And I would tell you that probably one of the most single impactful things, positive about, that happened to my family. I don't even know exactly how many years that happened, but, let's call it 5, 6, 7 years ago. My kids were, preteen, adolescents, they were probably coming up 6, 7, 8 years old, in that range. And, we started, there was always this family time at the dinner table. And, as life got busy, I was at work, my wife was working, kids were in school, and we'd come together every night. And, sometimes conversation was easy and sometimes it was hard. And there was a moment in my life where I was like, well, geez, like, what can we do to kind of kickstart our discussions each night at the dinner table and kind of create this beginning of a family tradition? And one of the things that we started with was like, well, just tell me about your day. And that kind of worked a little bit. And then it was kind of like, well, tell me about, what was the best part of your day and what was maybe the worst part of your day? Let's get some contrast here. What was good, what was bad? And again, that evolved a little bit too. And what we really came down to, and what all of us, even this day, literally tonight, we did it. We've got an aunt and uncle in town visiting with their son, and my family of 4, my son John and Max and Edith, my wife Edith. We asked ourselves this question every night, and I would tell you it's one of the single most powerful things that I've done in my family that's just been incredible about what it's done for the relationship and the excitement of our family being a unit, right? And the single question is, what was the best part of your day, Scott? So I'm going to ask you that question, Scott. What was the best part of your day, brother?
What was the best part of my day? It's clear to me. And so I've been on night shifts all week, and it was my last night. So the best part of my day was as I split custody with my son. So at 2:00 today, he knocked on the door and walked through the door. Hands down, best part of my day. It really is. And then making the decision to come to Idaho tonight, and it's been great ever since. But yeah, getting my kid at 2:00 today, that walking through the door. So that was the best part of my day.
But you know what I just did, Scott, is I forced you to think about what was the most positive part of your day, and that self-reflection of, there's good things in our lives. Some days we have good days, some days we have bad days. But if we're forced to think about the best part of our day, sometimes the best part of our day is the meal that we're having with our loved ones right here. You and I, this might be the best part of our day someday. If we didn't have a great day, something else going on too.
Love that.
I'm just going to share with it because it was an awesome time. The best part of my day, Scott, I've got family.
Go ahead.
Uncle Terry, Aunt Juanita in town. My older boys got to hang out with the younger kid, Alex, here in the house. And we went out, we did a little wine tasting. And because I wanted to be as mentally focused as I could for you, I volunteered to be DD today. So I drove my wife and these guys around. We did winery tours, and guess what? We landed at my absolute favorite place. Shout out to Big Block Brewery in Sammamish, Washington.
Great dad.
My friends at Big Block Brewery. I brought my family down there, let them all meet, and it was an awesome experience to be able to let them see. Because anybody who follows me on Facebook knows Big Block Brewery is the best place in the world to go down and enjoy a cocktail, enjoy a great brew. So
Go have a real beer.
Exactly.
I love it, dude. I love it. So much feeds off of that too. That what is the best part of your day, and just like right there, you got to share the best part of your day, but you walked through your entire day, that
Yep.
quick to be able to find the best part, and that feel, that sets you up good, and it creates momentum from day in and day out, and you do that on a consistent basis. You start thinking about all the good parts of your day for the week and the good parts of your day for the month, and then you create a consistent thing where you're only focusing on, what are the good parts of it. What's up, Todd, Cameron,
I have to share real quick, Scott. I gotta share with you that that story, the kind of the best part of your day story. I shared that with my manager. I work at T-Mobile at the corporate office here in Bellevue, Washington, and I shared that story with my manager. And she has a young son, I think about 8, 9, 10 years old in that range. And she started that about a year ago with her son. And to this day, they continue to do it. And I get to hear stories on a weekly basis of what was the best part of her son's day, and how much, if they don't get to do it, like how much her son looks forward to it and asks mom, hey, mom, what was the best part of your day? And it's just, it really helps her reflect back on, like, man, it's awesome to be able to have that question in my mind and to focus on the positive of the day and what happened today. So.
Focus. He's
that positive mindset, Scott, man.
The positive mindset, and that little boy holding mama accountable too, because it's not letting it slide. Hold that accountable, because
slide, brother, right there.
Because I love it. Don't let it slide, Abby pun. Anyway. All right, man. I feel you. I love you. I love it, dude. This is cool. Let me run through and quick say hi to some people real quick. Samantha's on.
Absolutely.
Taylor for sure. Derek, Joe, hey man, thanks for coming on. Todd, Dwayne, John Lieberheimer, that must be one of your boys. I might have. I think I mutilated that. Right on. Thanks for going on. What about our audience? Drop the best part of your day in the comments right now. Do that.
Oh, I'd love that, man. Let's
awesome. Feed that. Let's get some positive energy going in this room and drop the best part of your day while we continue on. So. We'll move right along. So we hit your family, we hit your passions, we hit a daily routine that keeps your mindset positive. There's a couple other aspects of your life that I know you value very highly, outside of your family, and it's your faith and your leadership abilities. So if you want to go into that a little bit, I know you have some nuggets to drop on how to prioritize your faith and what you provide the world.
Yeah, no, it's cool, Scott. And it's one of those things that, frankly, I don't think, especially on social media, that we share much about, right? Because there's all these topics on social media that we're not comfortable talking about, which is politics and religion. And, there's a few other things out there that we talk about that kind of gets everybody on pins and needles. But I would tell you that, for me, with my faith and my family and all those things, I've gotten to a point in my life where I come to grips with who is Jon Ferrian, what is Jon Ferrian about, and what does he stand for, and to be loud and proud about it, brother. It's like, I'm a lifelong Catholic personally. Went to church every Sunday with my parents, and was just kind of a cradle Catholic, right? Went through it and kind of was just going through the motions. And then when I met my wife, believe it or not, my wife was Lutheran. And as we got married, she converted to Catholicism. And when she did, it really kind of opened my eyes up, because she had to go through all this new training. And it was kind of a new eye-opening view for me of what my church and my religion was about. And through her and our bond together, kind of just attending church over the years. And I would tell you, honestly, even for that 21 years, it's probably been 18 years that we still were attendees at church. And it was only now in the last 2 to 3 years where what we've discussed, and it was stuff that people would tell us, and we kind of were always like, I don't know if that's for me, right? Like, how do you get involved and how do you volunteer, right? And whether it be at church or in your community, one thing that's important to my family and something we've done is we've done a lot of volunteering. Once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year sometimes. We go down to a local food bank and we'll volunteer some time. And we do that as a family together. And it's a really cool bonding experience. And the kids get to see different things in life that they don't experience on a daily basis. And it's that interaction they get there. And the same thing at church. At church, I'm an usher. I put my time in, a couple Sundays a month and, volunteer to usher. My oldest son, John, is an altar server. He serves at the Mass. And then also my wife and my other son, Max, they both serve, the coffee and donuts after mass a few, Sundays per month. And I would tell you that it's crazy, but whether it's your faith and your church and what you're doing there, or if you're out in the community volunteering, that volunteer effort and that volunteer time really enhances your network, right? And so your network is an incredible tool that you have access to. And there's all these people that we've met through our church, just through volunteering, that have become great lifelong friends. We've got great friends in our community that we hang out with on a regular basis that we've met through our church. And we never would have done that had we not gotten involved in volunteering. But the other part about my faith I want to share with you, Scott, is that, spirituality, religious, whatever it is there's something in your life that helps you kind of find your center, right? And find your Zen. Some people, they go to yoga, other people, they go to the mountains, and it's, spiritual experience up there on top of the mountain. And, I've heard all different versions of this, but, the ability to kind of, you're on the road and you've got a ditch over here and you've got a ditch over here. And what I find is every week it's an opportunity for me to reflect on what's going on in my life and to help find that center line, right? And to stay on the road, because guarantee you there's things in our lives that are going to pull us to both ditches on either side. And if you can come back together to that center and like on a weekly basis, be able to sit there and kind of meditate and kind of think through what's going on in your life and reflect back on what you could do better each week is a great experience for me. So that's what my faith means for me. Again, I don't want to dwell on it and get into it too much, but I think it's important for our followers out there to know that, behind the scenes, outside of the snowmobile world, there's real people out here that, love God and love their family. Hope you can still hear me, Scott. Looks like you're breaking up a little bit, and you're gonna have maybe an issue with your Wi-Fi connection. I don't know.
Maybe the free McDonald's Wi-Fi is cutting me out. He's like, hey, he's got too many people on here. Mountains or Jesse, can you hear me? Am I still cutting out now?
No, you're doing better now, so go for it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll go for it. Anyway, what I wanted to go back onto was that center, and it is like you say. Some people use the mountains, some people use exercise or running, or the church or whatever it may be. It's that ability to recenter yourself consistently and to put your best self forward because of it. I love that. That's the power behind.
And it's an opportunity for reflection, right? I mean, regardless of how you're doing that, whether it be at church or up on the mountain or whatever it is, take that time, meditate, find your center, but reflect on what's going on and reflect on your interactions that you had that week. Scott, you and I can talk to each other. And if there's something maybe that I said that I felt bad about afterwards, that's my time to kind of think about it. Like, geez, how could I have handled that differently? What should I have done? And that time of meditation, that follow-up, might inspire me to go back to you and say, hey, Scott, I said this, I maybe didn't mean it, or I did mean it, but this is what I meant by it. Let's check in and just make sure we're cool with each other and how we're doing, right? That, just kind of a made-up scenario there, but there's many times where I've reflected on things in church as I'm sitting there, praying, and then I've gone back to somebody afterwards and I've gone, you know what, that wasn't the best way I could have handled that. I apologize. Let me make sure that we got things good going forward. So
absolutely. It's one thing where I want to go now is, and I touched on it when we first started, is maximizing each area of your life. And when you get, I'll say, committed to a project, or, you get that tunnel vision where you think you're focused and you're trying to focus on one thing, but then stuff on the outside starts slipping off. Maybe you're letting your Sunday slip off a little, or you're letting a little time or commitment with your family slip off a little, and just because maybe you're so dedicated on one project or your job, or it's stressful at work, or whatever it may be, you get too focused on one thing and you lose that balance to keep your flow going. So that's
priorities,
Scott. Priorities, and give it equal time. That's what that recenter helps me do, is like step back, look back and be like, hey, what area? I'm like, hey, I'm tired all the time. I must be letting. Oh, I haven't ran in like 3 weeks, so that'll do it every time. But I love it. And again, with that is focus. It's focus and balance. So I love it. I feel where you're going. Where are you at, man? How's everyone doing? We got a few more people on. Mike's on. What's up? There's some Pacific Northwest boys. Jesse's on the Mountains Recenter. Scott's on.
Mike's a good guy. There's a lot of good people on YouTube, but I'll tell you, Mike's a good cat, man. He's got a good heart and good soul. He's got his wife into some sledding out here lately too, and she's looked like she's having a blast out there. It's a pretty good time. And then Ryan, I see all these people on here that I know the names, and they're all great people, man. I love the fact that we interact with each other on Facebook, and a lot of these folks reach out to me on a regular basis and ask for riding conditions. Abby can, what's the Abby status is and stuff too, and these guys are all my extended family, and I'm grateful for the fact that they took time out of their day to come and watch you, Scott. So.
Oh, I do. I appreciate it too. I appreciate it, Tim. And here's one more nugget for you. Everybody that reaches out and wants to know riding conditions and this and that, it's reaching out a little more consistent. Maybe instead of once a year, maybe you check in at the beginning of the season. Hey, I might be, I'm reaching out to you now to let you know I'm going to be texting you a couple times a month to see what your snow conditions are like, and that builds your network up too a little bit. And they're a little quicker to get a reply when you're like, okay, you didn't just text me last minute. I went off on something there. Sorry about that. Good to see you guys. Yep.
That's okay.
I got a little sidetracked.
No, it's all about just helping other people, Scott. And I mean, there's a big theme there, and I know we're going to kind of get into detail, but I think it's a good time to bring it up. Is building your network and building success in any part of your life. Here's the magic sauce. Here's the secret, Scott. I'm going to get really close. You ready for this? It's a secret. I'm going to whisper it to you. If you give, and you do for others, guess what? It comes back tenfold.
Tenfold.
You know what? All these people on here, like, Darren, Michael, all these folks on here, like, I don't even hesitate, man. Like, when one of these guys reaches out to me, and like, I got hit up probably no less than 4 times today. People wanting to know about riding this weekend and what was the conditions like here and was that, what do you recommend? One dude hit me up on, Tim, what's his name? Tim Stapleton hit me up today about wanting to know about running boards on his sled. He's got a failed running board. He wants to know if there's any recommendations. I take time out of my day all the time to be able to just kind of help these folks out, because there's a lot of people new in the sport, and it doesn't matter if it's the sport of snowmobiling or if it's at T-Mobile, at the office, at the church. If there's somebody that I can give to and sponsor, you know what? There's nothing that makes me more happy than to give. So JJ, are you still on here, brother? Give me a thumbs up, JJ, if you're on. JJ Dial is the man. So JJ is one of those guys, man, that I met here about a year ago. There you go. There you go. Hashtag
what's up, brother?
I love it. That's timing is perfect, dude. So JJ is one of these guys, man, that we met like a year ago, and it's just an awesome story. And JJ and I have gotten to be pretty tight, man. We're good buddies, and whenever I get a chance to get out and hang out with JJ, I take an opportunity to do so. We'll go down to Big Block and we'll grab a beer. I'll grab an extra sled off my back of my truck, and we'll go down. We'll go riding together. JJ and I have talked a lot of things about family, friends, our lovely wives of each other, and career opportunities. And JJ's he probably doesn't even realize it, but he helps me as much as I help him, hopefully. But that's that mentorship. That's that team. But it's give, right? It's like if what makes me happy, what makes me excited about life, is seeing the smile on everybody else's faces, right? So Scott, I didn't come on this show for me, man. This show is not about me. I just love what you're doing so much. I wanted to get on this show, and I wanted to help you, dude. Like, think about all the people I shared this out to, the network that I've been sharing, my network with you. Dude, 2 months ago, I didn't even know you. Yeah. And now all I want to do is make you the most successful person in the world, man. It's like, that's what it's all about. Because you know what? When we do that, someday, inevitably, it happens. It comes back to me tenfold, man. Someday you're going to be in a meeting room someday and some big job, some meeting, and you're going to think, that Jon Ferrian guy, he wasn't such a bad dude. He helped me out once. Maybe he'll help me. Maybe I'll help him out this time, right? Yeah. There's an opportunity to do so. That's the power.
That's the power of our network. I love it. Thank you, man, dude. I'm super honored, number one, to have you on here. And not only you took your time out to come on here and get ready for this and do it proper with me, but all these people on here. How about them, dude? We got 23 people on here. I love it. Thank you guys so much. And if you got some value and you're enjoying this, please feel to share it out. Share it out to your groups. We're just trying to build a
network. Everybody on this little bar down the bottom here, there's a little share button right over there. At least on my screen, that's the way it's pointing, right? Yep, right there is a little share button right in the middle of this video. Just start sharing it out, inviting people on here. See how many people you can get on there. Let's see if we can set a new record.
We should have done that earlier in the show. I always forget these things. I can right away
I did it. As you were building up, I sent an invite out to about 50 people, so I guess half of them showed up.
Love it. That's all good. Watching replay. And again, if you're coming in on a replay, drop a number 2 so I know you're on the replay and I can reach out to you, and we can interact after the show if you want to. So drop some comments, drop some questions. If you got some questions for Jon, he can come back and answer those with you. Reach out to him. Send him a message if you love what he's doing. And if you love what we're doing here on Driven, please shoot me a message and let's set a day up for you and and you can do your driven show. Right now it's once a week, but where I want to take it, we can do these more often if we grow this out and have some fun with it. Just once right now. But so anyway,
Scott,
cool. What's up?
Well, I was just going to say, man, like I'm just looking through mine. I mean, you and I, we worked hard to get this show prepped and kind of go through some thoughts of what it is. I'm looking through my notes, and really we've touched on most of everything so far, and I think we can start freestyling here pretty tight.
I love it.
But what I would tell you, there's something I want to get out there, right? It's so important, and it's your word, right? Like it's your brand as your word, right? Like when you, it's so important. I just want to make sure I say it right. So just let me think through is do what you say. You know, say what you're going to do and then do what you say, right? It's like, there's really simple things in life that people take for granted. And I like to believe, and I pray to God that everybody believes the same thing that knows me, is that if something comes out of here, right here, this big giant hole in the front of my face, if something comes out of here, it's going to happen. Jon Ferrian, his word is golden because you know what? To a fault, I'm going to live through to my commitment that I made to you as an individual. I don't know if it's you, Scott. I mean, dude, how sucky would it have been had I told you, like, hey, Scott, I'd love to come on your show. It's going to be awesome. And then bailed on you at the last second. That would have completely blown. It would have blown your show. I guarantee it's probably happened to you already, right?
Yeah, it's happened. But stuff coming.
It's happened, right?
Yeah, it's happened.
It throws you for a curveball, and you wing it, and you go for it. But it totally throws you for a spin. And if you do that at work, if you do that with your family, if you do that in the house of God, and you don't do what you say you're going to do,
it comes back.
You've lost all credibility.
It comes back negatively.
You've lost all credibility with anybody and everybody that's there, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a scenario that happens every single week, right? Wednesday, Thursday, I start getting the text messages and the phone calls like, hey, John, where are you riding this weekend? Hey, where are we going? What's going on? And at some point, I'm going to make a verbal commitment like, yeah, I'm riding with you. Like this week, Trevor Wirt just texted me. He says, hey, John, you want to ride Saturday? So far, I've got no lockdown plans. I said, yeah, let's ride Saturday. Guess what? Since then, like 4 more people have called me. Hey, you want to ride on Saturday? What do you want to do here? And I just am clean with them. I'm like, hey, man, I've already made a commitment to Trevor. We're going to go riding this Saturday. If you want to join us, I can't invite you. It's not my ride. It's Trevor's ride. Let me check in with him and see if it's okay, right? I don't make commitments I can't live up to because they're not mine to give. But bottom line, dude, look in my eyes, hear my mouth. If something comes out of my mouth, it's going to happen. And I'm always going to follow through with it. And I tell you what, it doesn't matter what part of your life you're in, that will tie you to some success right there. If people trust you, because that builds trust, brother. If people trust you, they will push you in the right direction. It doesn't matter if it's at work, at church, in your family. If they trust you and they know you're going to do what you say you're going to do, opportunities will come at you like nobody's business.
I can honestly say 100% of my failures through life have been based solely off me not being able to hold up basically what I said I was going to do. And I've learned, I've learned that you do gotta hold those words wise and stick to them. It's unfortunate. It happens, but I'm as guilty as anybody. I'm human, and I try to always do that exact thing. But I know it happens. I don't know where to go with it. But I've learned that if you want to 100% have success or succeed at something or see it through or finish it, again, you have to deliver on what you're going to say you're going to do. And it's not under promise and over promise and over deliver.
If you over promise and under deliver, you're screwed. If you under promise and over deliver, you're a hero.
Yeah, and again, though, you don't ever want to under promise somebody. It's like, hey, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do, not 20% less. So.
But be conservative. That whole under promising thing, you could reword it and say, like, you know what? Like at work, for example, if you think you can deliver a project and you're going to give them a date, be conservative. Give yourself that buffer. Yeah. And when you deliver early, you're the hero, right? You set that expectation. You got to be realistic, but you got to be aggressive. But there's all these things. It's so cool, man.
Darren says overpin it. Yeah, yes.
There you go.
Dude, I love this is fun talking about real life and just talking about sledding mixed in with it because there's so many
sled metaphors.
Sled metaphors, our sled network. We're just sledpreneurs. Little man rocking the road show tonight. We're pulling we're going to drive through the night. We're going to get up to Idaho here this evening. We're going to have some fun up for the next few days with some family and have some mountain time and do some sledding. Again, so what I want to hit, we had some people throw this up earlier. It's some of the organizations you're involved with and some of your footprint you leave on that. So I think let's try to wrap up with, you know, giving back to the sled community, because that is kind of what I'm trying to do here, is to provide a platform for the sledding community to grow, to network, to have some fun, and hopefully crush it. And I know you do the same thing with the organizations you're a part of. So let's dive into that and talk about Nemo.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Nemo, didn't we? Gotta love Nemo. Bud. So yeah, just to give you a little background is, you know, I literally call it my second job because of the hours that I put in and invest into the snowmobile community. And it's everything from, you know, just, you know, I'll start kind of a few years back, right? When I was in Minnesota, I joined a local snowmobile club called the, what is it, Terry? The Gull Lake Drifters we joined. By the way, Uncle Terry over here, he's sitting right over there. Terry, come on over here for a second. Get in the background. I want to introduce you to Uncle Terry. Uncle Terry at the time here was the
Bavarian Boondockers, love you guys. Sled and whack.
Get in the corner here, Terry.
Christie's on it.
There you go. There's Uncle Terry. Uncle Terry was the club president back in the day, and I was the vice president. That was my first club I joined. Thanks, buddy. And so from there,
Christy Prest wants to know what Nemo meant. We'll get to it. A couple minutes.
We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get that in a minute. Yeah, Nemo. We found Nemo. There, right? But anyway, so I became vice president there, was in that club, and then really quickly it elevated to in Minnesota. I was in Crow Wing County. Crow Wing County is right in the heart of the lakes area. It's the Brainerd Lakes area, if anybody knows Brainerd, that whole area. In that county, there was 12 clubs, and of that 12 clubs, yours truly was the president of that county trail association. I did that for about 1.5 years, 2 years, and then I had to relocate for work, so I got out of that. Got involved in the snowmobile club down in the Zimmerman, St. Francis, Minnesota area called the Snow Ghosts. So if there's any Snow Ghosts on here, big shout out to all you guys. So I got involved there. That's actually the club. If anybody's heard of this little event called Hay Days, the Snow Barons put on Hay Days, but the Snow Ghosts are the club who do all the gate security and do all the ticket sales for Hay Days. So I was a volunteer there. By the way, I went back this year, went to Hay Days. I put a couple hours of volunteer time in at the gates myself.
He's going back to his roots.
I know, right? And so then I moved out to Washington here in 2012. Immediately joined the local club called the Cascade Drift Skippers. You know, it was about 100, 150 members at the time in 2012. Since then, being part of this club, and there's a lot of good people in this club. I know I've done a piece of it, but it's not me. There's a lot of good people.
It's a network.
In there. Yep, but guess what? National and International Snowmobile Club of the Year, inducted into the Snowmobile Club Hall of Fame this year in 2017.
Nice.
The Cascade Drift Skippers in the house here in Washington State. This squad, my home club, literally National, International Snowmobile Club of the Year. Such a cool deal to be able to watch a club grow and evolve. And we've got a club that's got, you know, now over 300 members. A lot of new younger members coming in and families coming in, you know, advanced riders coming in, intermediate, beginner riders. It's a place for everybody, right? Since then, now I've gotten involved with the Washington State Snowmobile Association. I'm now the state safety coordinator for the State Snowmobile Association. And just a quick shout out for any clubs out there and or state associations. There's a lot of great people out there that most of us that are watching this video have no clue how much hard work goes on behind the scene by all of these volunteers to keep our sport alive. You know, the funding that goes in there, the legislative networking that happens at a state level to keep the funding in place and to keep the land access open. Do yourselves a favor, get involved in clubs and state associations and support the people who are supporting the sport, right? And again, that has nothing to do with me, brother. That's about paying back the sport that you guys all love. Then last but not least, by no means, is the Northwest Avalanche Center. So I became Justin Davis, actually, our president of the board of directors, is on watching here. I saw a comment go by a bit ago. You're back in there, Justin. Say hi, Justin Davis.
Thanks for
feel free to
on.
shout out. But Justin recruited me in, and since then, you know, there's Mick Steinman was a snowmobiler that was on the board for about 10 years. I came in, and we've done all kinds of really cool, incredible things. We've got the Sled NWAC ambassador program that's coming on. We've got 2 riders, ambassadors. There's Justin right there. He's
Yeah.
See, there's Justin right there.
Drop some five.
So we got them. Yeah. So Kyle Engberg and Brandon Bell are both going to be our sled ambassadors this year. You're going to see them out on the snow. Again, a lot of fun things, kind of ideas that have been stuck up here. We've shared out with folks like Justin. Justin's a big advocate of getting the snowmobile community involved with NWAC and NWAC involved in the snowmobile community. And I think he thinks I'm a tool. Get it? I'm a tool to get in the snowmobile community. Got it?
I got that.
Joke about myself right there. Anyway, John the tool. And so we're having a good time with that. But there's so many cool things we're doing. And you know what? The work that I'm doing here, and it's all 100% volunteer work, man. I work so hard at it. I love so many people involved in it. And it's literally saving lives, man. I know for a fact that I've seen it happen. People going out there being educated on the mountain versus not. And unfortunately, having to interact with folks who've lost a loved one, in recent years here over the last month, last couple of years. It's a tough deal, man. And almost every time it goes back to, had they gone through some kind of training, education, had the right equipment. And those are all the things that, myself and the folks who are behind these avalanche centers and trying to get this stuff out there about. We're just out there trying to share the love so that everybody can go out and enjoy the sport safely, man. So
love it. And you can tell, I can tell you're passionate about it. And I can tell that is definitely an area of your life that you find a priority to excel at it and maximize your time and efficiency while you're there. Yep. So big thank you, big shout out. Club support and education is so important to keeping our sport alive, growing, and well perceived by the public that's not involved in it. Oh, the Law just jumped on. Yep. What's up, my man? The Law, he's on the business side of my sled network, if you will. He kind of shot a fire underneath me. He's like, man, just do it, man. Just press play. So thanks for coming on, Law. But anyway, back to giving back to the community in that way, and education and club support does keep that alive and keeps it growing and keeps people's hands out of our forest, if you will. So thank you for doing that for your area and your community. That's awesome.
So JJ just says, this is John at 8 out of 10. I guess I'm not pumped up enough. I needed to give a little more. That's my normal pose, right? Let me pose for a picture. Right? JJ, is that better? Is that a 10 out of 10, brother? Flame it up.
I know something that'll get him to a 10. What is Nemo? Let's drop that. Let's
talk about Nemo.
Let's talk about Nemo. I'm gonna go get me some Nemo tomorrow.
Nemo. So I don't know. It's one of those. It's one of those things. I just, like, I'm sharing so much crap on Facebook all the time. I'm always looking for new, fun, creative ways to kind of get people's attention and be excited about things. And it really came along, here's what it was, man. It's like Marlon sled deck, right? It's like I had this Marlon sled deck, and I had this one, and like I had an opportunity to get a sweet deal on a new one, and I was switching it up. And as I was getting ready to buy my new sled deck, I don't know what it was. Something in my head triggered, like, you know what? Marlon sled deck is like Marlon, the guy. He's going to go out there and he's going to help me find the snow. Who's the snow? The Nemo. You know what? Coincidentally, my stupid new blue snowmobile. Anybody who follows me, that new snowmobile that looks like Dory, right? Like, look at it. Pull the picture of Dory up. Pull the picture of my snowmobile up. Same color scheme. That Dory, that little skidoo snowmobile, wanders around aimlessly all over the place looking for Nemo. Marlon, my sled deck, he's up there hauling Dory off to go find Nemo. My truck is Crush. Crush is out there pulling us along. He's guiding us. He's taking us to Nemo. And at the end of the day, it's this whole family, Misfits and everybody else out there together. We're all out there trying to find Nemo. And when you find Nemo, you found snow, brother. Nemo is snow. You see me posting about Nemo? There we go. JJ's impressed now. We finally made it to 10. There we go.
There we go, truth. 10. Yeah, I love it. I feel you, man. I feel it. I feel the 10. I hope you guys...
JJ, thanks for the inspiration, brother. I needed it. I needed that little push over the edge.
It's awesome, dude. I absolutely love this.
Swimming. Yep, keep swimming, looking for Nemo.
So if
you want to know where Nemo's at, follow Jon Ferrian on Facebook. I'll show you right where Nemo's at. Everybody else thinks it's secret. We're going to tell you where all of our secret riding spots are. Not me. Public knowledge. We're going to show you where Nemo's at.
That's it too. And if you're connected with me and you're not connected with John, and you're adding value to either the sled community, the business community, or you want to see his Nemo adventures, like, connect with John, follow him on Facebook, get at him on Instagram. Where else? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Just, Facebook, my name, Jon Ferrian. I mean, it's one of those things we talked about earlier is, be your brand name, right? And I believe at this point, honestly, that when somebody sees the name Jon Ferrian across Facebook or Instagram, I don't get into all those little custom names that make people wonder who the heck you are. Jon Ferrian. You can find me on Instagram. You can now be careful because there's another Jon J. Ferrian out there. That's my son. Equally as cool of a dude, but not quite as active on social media.
Far better looking.
He's far better looking. Absolutely. So anyway, Jon Ferrian, Instagram, Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I don't do much on Twitter, honestly, but I also share some. Actually, as long as you're talking about it, I'll share with you. There's several pages that I help manage. I'm admins on, or I own the pages. One is Sled NWAC. So, yep, you got Sled NWAC out on Facebook, Sled NWAC on Instagram. There's a little page called PNW Sledder. Good buddy of mine, Alex Driscoll, and myself, we manage that one. It's just kind of a fun page that we throw stuff out there, community events, riding events, updates, pictures, whatever, stuff we share all over Facebook. Washington State Snowmobile Association, follow that page on Facebook as well. And I'm one of the admins on there. I share out some of the content there. A lot of good people behind the scenes also helping there too. And I think that's mostly it, but busy guy. My thumbs are always a-moving. I think I'm going to get arthritis in my thumbs someday. Someday I'm going to look like this. I won't have any thumbs.
Have to go muster finger because these won't work anymore.
Yeah. Mike Carilla, I hesitate to look and see how much Nemo finds each day. So poor Mike Carilla, he's one of my buddies from back in Minnesota where I came from. He actually knows Terry Walleen, my buddy here, very well. My Uncle Terry knows Mike. Mike, when I bought my first Skidoo 174 and I was showing him all kinds of pictures of Washington and the deep pow we get here, he threatened to unfriend me over and over and over again. But guess what? He's still here.
Nice. Thanks for coming on, Mike. And awesome, dude. I absolutely love this conversation. We could go on for hours, but we almost have. We're like, let's keep it about 30 minutes, and I just throw that out the window now. So thank you guys for your time so much. I'm glad you stuck this out. I hope you got some value and had some fun with it because I sure had a blast. Thank you so much, Jon, for your time too. Obviously, I'm so thankful I connected with you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Facebook, right? That's how it all happens. So my final words at the point that I'm going to say goodbye is just one thing, man. It's live large. Get everything out you can out of every day, man. Live large, brother. Live large.
All right, man. I do appreciate that. Live large. Stay safe this weekend. Good luck finding Nemo. We will, man. We will for sure. Thank you.
All right. Bye, man. Peace
All right,
out.
later. All right, guys. I do appreciate it, man. I had a great time. I hope you enjoyed that show. Jason, what's on? Devin, thank you, man. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Jamie, appreciate that. And I want to go back to what I started with at the beginning, and it was loving, either your employee, yourself, your family, and basically that means hold yourself accountable. And it's not always easy to do, but you gotta love yourself, and you gotta hold yourself accountable. You gotta love your family, and you gotta hold them accountable too. And if you're holding yourself accountable, and not only that, take advice from Jon. Find out what was best about your day every day, and I know you too can take the steps and take the action, and you live a driven life. You can do the driven life. You can live something and do something that you're passionate about, and I get to go do that now, and I'm thankful for that. So we're going to hit the road. We're headed up to Idaho. If you're in the Cascade, McCall area, hook up. We'll be on West Mountain for the next 4 days, and I love you guys, and thank you so much for coming on to Driven. It's your internet energy drink. Later, y'all. Live driven, be driven. We're done, buddy. Later, guys. Be well off. Love you.